Peace, Islam. Welcome to Nwar Astrology. Today we're going to be looking at the astrological energies of the new moon in Sagittarius. Today's astrology is going to be both for Tuesday, November the 22nd, which is the date that this is being filmed on, as well as tomorrow, Wednesday, November the 23rd. The astrological energy of the new moon lasts for about 2 to 3 days in total. The exact point of the new moon is tomorrow on the 23rd at 5:58 p.m. So that's going to be the strongest energies of the new moon happening around that time. Today we have the moon, which is in its balsamic phase. It's a dark moon moving through the last degrees of Scorpio. Transformation, death, and rebirth. It deals with other people's money. That could be taxes, loans, banking institutions, inheritances, dealing with merging with another person, similar to how Libra deals with marriage. Scorpio also deals with transformation. It's the phoenix. It's all about self-regeneration. It's about uncovering that which is hidden as well. And so Scorpio is currently traveling through the social signs. Scorpio is normally the 8th house, but right now it is in the 10th house, which is dealing with our career areas of life. This deals with social house. It deals with our profession, with our career. It deals with our need for achievement, what our goals are in life, recognition and social status. It deals with our authority figures in our life as well, and can deal with the influence of the mother. This could either be like a divine feminine energy or perhaps an overbearing mother energy. 2 examples I'll give you to think of that would be, think of, what was it? Wizard of Oz. And there's, what was it, Glenda the Good Witch or whatever, that was kind of benevolent, and she was there to help and assist Dorothy, whereas the Wicked Witch, Elphaba, was kind of very chaotic and overbearing and trying to, not just control, but I guess destroy Dorothy and steal her slippers. Another example could be like Cinderella. Think of the stepmother. That's an overbearing mother energy. So the 10th house energy can show up in either one of these areas as well, depending on your own specific birth chart, as well as the transits going on in your life right now. If you were going to be looking at the kind of paternal figure, you would be then looking at Saturn and Aquarius as well, just if anybody was curious about that. So we have some interesting energy today. It's very intense. The moon is moving through this dark balsamic phase as it makes its way through the last degrees of Scorpio, to meet up with the sun in Sagittarius, which is the house that deals with philosophy. It deals with long distance travel and exploration, journeys of the mind, higher knowledge. It could deal with religion as well, teaching, writing, and like revealing truths, higher truths, and that sort of nature. Sagittarius is currently in the 11th house, which is also a social house, and this deals with the collective mind. So whereas the 10th house deals more with social work, or maybe say higher education, like collegiate settings, that sort of thing, or maybe even a group that you might be in with working out at the park or something like that. Aquarius in the 11th house deals with the hive mind, even more social. So this, you would think of like a social movement, or a congregation of people that belongs to a larger religious or political body. So yeah, it deals with the hive mind. It deals with your role that you play in those groups. It deals with social justice and social reform. It deals with your friends. It deals with fads and trends and what's kind of popular and what kind of has meme potential amongst the crowd and like kind of the zeitgeist and what's going on in the atmosphere right now. So that's where the sun, which is your soul, it's your identity, and it is the purpose behind your life, is in Sagittarius, along with Venus, which deals with our value, our aesthetics, and Mercury, which is our thought and our communication. They're all in Sagittarius. So as the moon is making its final passage through Scorpio, it is making its conjunct on the 22nd with the South Node, and as well it is opposed to Uranus in Taurus and the North Node. Now, Taurus is like it deals with our values and our aesthetic the same way Venus does, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus. Taurus is currently in the 4th house. So it's dealing with your home, your family, your siblings, your roots, early childhood life, your early childhood either programming or maybe early childhood trauma and wounding and these sorts of things. So the moon conjunct with the South Node, which deals with our past behaviors, is allowing us an opportunity and a space to look at some of the physical or emotional behaviors and actions, thoughts, patterns that we've had in the last several years, and see if there's any room for transformation in Scorpio. This is being affected by Uranus in Taurus, dealing with our values, but in this place of our early childhood as well as our familial life, in opposition to our social status, in opposition to our authority figures, in opposition to maybe a mother figure in our life. We are now looking at our value, our thoughts, our communication, and our life's purpose, and how we can achieve higher knowledge of that. So it can be a little bit of a dark, intense energy today. There's a little bit of difficulty with this. The moon is making a square to Saturn and the ascendant is in Aquarius, which is the 11th house, again dealing with the hive mind. So our interpersonal needs right now and our thoughts and values and how we show up in the world around us can feel like it's being challenged by some of our foundational mores. So this can definitely be a difficult energy for us to be going into as we're entering into the new moon. There's a couple more things I want to say about this energy of this moon. So the new moon is the new moon is on the cusp. And so new moons that are on the cusp, they can have eclipse energy. And in fact, this new moon directly is in opposition to the blood moon eclipse that was in Taurus a few weeks ago. And it's also going to be squaring Saturn. So this definitely has a heavy dark energy that might be bringing up some of the same themes that we might have been experiencing for the last couple of weeks. The Venus and Mercury transits have actually made some connections to a couple of the past eclipses and points before that. So this Sagittarian energy of the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, and Venus during the new moon is going to definitely be very strong and calling back to some of the themes that we might have been experiencing the last couple of months. The energy of a new moon on a cusp can kind of have the feeling of like overlaid communication or overlaid cross signals. Like think of when you're driving in a car and you're changing the radio station. I know most people probably listen to like Spotify or XM radio, whatever, but like just bear with me for a second. You're driving in the car and you're changing the radio station and you're on country and you're dialing it up and you're making your way to the hip hop station, but as you're scanning through in between, you might hear this really interesting classical music. And then, you try to go back and find that station, but you can't. It's just country or hip hop, country or hip hop. It's kind of got that feeling, like cross signals real quick, a little, wait, what was that moment? And you're kind of trying to find the balance there and find what it is that you value in that. Another good thing to note is that the energy prior to the new moon, especially in this balsamic dark phase, these are good times to invoke spiritual protection, to cleanse and to fast for this energy that's coming up. Because it might be a difficult one for some. So on the new moon, the moon moves away from its conjunction with the south node in deep introspective and transformative Scorpio, and it's moving to make its Kazemi conjunction with the sun, our soul and our identity, in philosophical and exploratory Sagittarius. So this is the energy of moving through all of this deep introspection that we might have been digging through, that's been surfacing up, dealing with our value and our thoughts and how we're showing up, both in our familial and as well as our social settings, or the oppositions of both. This is a time for us to look and take account of the wisdom that we gained through that experience, and really now kind of view it through the lens of higher knowledge. This new moon is making a trine towards Chiron, which is showing up in the 11th house at this time. So this is definitely also opening up an opportunity for some healing within any social sort of structures within how you're seen in the greater tribe. Jupiter is also stationing direct and making a trine to that moon, adding even more beneficial energy to maybe clearing up some of that energy. So the energies of the sun, the moon, Venus, and Mercury are making a stellium in Sagittarius. A stellium is when you have multiple planets within one house. I wanted to go ahead and read through the Sabian symbols for each of these and kind of give a breakdown for each energy. I got two for the sun and the moon, both the same Sabian symbol, but two different interpretations of that symbol. Pretty similar, but I decided I wanted one for each, just so you can kind of understand. So we're going to start off with the sun, which deals with our soul, our identity, and what drives us in the world. Sagittarius 1. Retired Army veterans gather to reawaken old memories. The symbol shows reunions and gathering together with people who have shared histories, struggles, or issues. A reunion can ignite feelings of camaraderie, companionship, and triumph, sometimes along with great passions. As these are retired Army veterans, it's through the passing of time and with the hindsight of age that many things can be faced, healed, or laid to rest. In going over the memories of old battles, you may find the clues for current ones. However, this degree can show going over old hurt, injuries, diseases, etc. The trick also is not to see others as the enemy, but rather to see in everyone the possibility of friendship. So in the positive, this deals with reunions, past life memories, fellowship, masculine domains, understanding the individual within an idealistic struggle, So that's interesting, thinking about that 11th house energy, just all the social 11th, 12th house energy, the social energy. Think of a political movement such as the civil rights movement, and then that figure being someone like Malcolm X or Martin Luther King Jr. Deals with moratoriums and deals with tears of the past. In the negative, it can be not letting go of the past, exaggerating past successes to justify current strategies, going over the same old ground, jobs for the boys, prisoners of war, and pain. So now for the moon, I got a second interpretation of this. The moon deals with our physical and emotional needs. Sagittarius 1. A grand army of the Republic campfire. Finding finding the meaning within our struggles. It is an aspect of our life on earth that we have a constant struggle against natural forces and other difficulties, processing the lessons within our mistakes and struggles. We can see culture as a softer side of civilization, wherein we tame the beasts within humanity by getting people to appreciate more subtle things like art and the technologies of comfort. Yet, to contain nature's violent disregard for our comfort and security at first requires a stronger approach than culture alone. A strong force that carves out our place and way to be is structured and conservative. It takes land and claims it. It is the military. Old army generals, some of whom are now wielding political power, sit and discuss how they did what they did, and importantly, why. With age comes the big life question. I have struggled and overcome. What gives that life struggle meaning? The answer is an abstraction, a philosophy about what we have come to believe will make the world a better place. Venus, dealing with our value, how we adorn ourselves, dealing with our worth or self-worth, or innate wealth, our possessions, is at Sagittarius, 9 degrees. A mother leads her small child step by step up the stairs. This symbol shows being able to lend a hand to those who need it, whether they are youngsters or not. It pictures situations where someone needs to assist those less able, experienced, or indeed less evolved to overcome difficulties and to rise up and learn to cope, learn or understand. You may find yourself as either the experienced or the inexperienced, or possibly finding the mother within you guiding your own inner child. It can also show someone caring for elderly relatives or friends. Whatever it is, one needs to have a sense of patience, caring, and understanding. Lending a guiding hand to others is very important. In the positive, this deals with the inner child, training, careful consideration of others' feelings, helping others to help themselves, stewardship, supervising parents, handicaps. I guess this is kind of a bad one, Alzheimer's, and slow progress. In the negative, future visions and hopes being obscured, exhausted by parental obligation, not getting or giving the help that one needs, wanting to be looked after, and lack of supervision. It's dealing with our value. Now, Mercury dealing with our mind. It's dealing with our language. It deals with how we communicate, how we speak, how we, anything dealing with psychic or verbal action is dealing with our Mercury, our thought patterns. Sagittarius 10, a theatrical representation of a golden-haired goddess of opportunity. Rewards, awards, acclaim, a sense of presence, charisma, and beauty are all the promise of this degree. There will be offers that look too good to refuse, and they could be full of promise, but they should still be looked at carefully. It can be something of a reward for you, in which case it can lead to bigger and better things. You, or someone close to you, could be seen as someone who could totally succeed, a natural talent. It may seem to be the answer to your dreams, and indeed may well turn out to be a grand adventure with a big reward. However, be aware of idle chatter with no basis in reality. In the positive, distinguishing reality from theater, feeling that the world is your stage, playing out a story, acting out impulses, dramatizations, opportunities that seem too good to resist. In the negative, shallow adoration, propaganda, constantly chasing things that come to nothing, judging people by their looks, false appearances, and false opportunities. So these are really interesting energies that we're dealing with here on this new moon. We're dealing with these energies of the collective. We're dealing with these energies of the family, with the home, these paternal, wizened men, a group of wizened men, but also dealing with these maternal energies as well, be they either divine feminine or perhaps the overbearing, chaotic, narcissistic mother archetype in your life. So it's interesting to take all of this into play, all this into thought as we're moving into this new moon. Definitely This is an energy of seeing how far you can go with the group, of thinking about how far you can communicate with the group, of thinking about how deeply and how much you value the group, or rather, how much the value you put in the group, that outer group or that familial group, has, how far can it take you. It can also be the energy of having a clash between these two energies, the outside group as well as our inner child, and being our own divine mothers and divine fathers, and how we're dealing with that. So this is gonna all be unfolding tomorrow on the 23rd, or today on the 23rd if you're watching this today, on Wednesday. This energy is definitely going to be unfolding for sure. Look to your own birth chart to see where you and what you have at 1 degree of Sagittarius, 9 degrees of Sagittarius, and 10 degrees of Sagittarius, to see exactly in your chart how it's going to be affecting you. But for the overall community, it's a time for us to really look at our relationships, be they familial, our relationships with our siblings, with ourself, our inner child, our relationships with the parents in our life, our relationships with the gurus and with the protectors in our life, our relationships with the greater social architecture that we may find ourselves in, and really see if there is any transformation and if we are in a place of opening up. The North Node is meeting up with Uranus, which is opposing the South Node, which is where the moon is just the sign the moon is coming out of, which is the South Node, dealing with Scorpio, all this transformation, death, and rebirth. And the North Node is with Uranus in Taurus, dealing with our value. It's going to be in the 12th house at the time of this new moon, dealing with the collective unconsciousness, dealing with our karma, hidden enemies, or as I like to say, open enemies, because I'm a 12th house sun and we illuminate what is hidden. Dealing with meditation, prayer, higher knowledge as well, connected to the Sagittarius archetypes. Look at how the people in your life are affecting how you are showing up in the world, how your thoughts and the groups and relationships that you are in are affecting the person that you are looking, the sage, the hero that you're looking to grow into being, and how they are affecting, perhaps maybe these energies are overbearing on some aspects of your inner child, and look to see what healing that you can do. And that healing most likely is going to come through the search for higher knowledge, the search for philosophy. All right, thank you for hanging in there with me. I know this might have been a little bit of a long one. I hope everybody can take the time to kind of sit out and resist any big, bold shows, because that's another energy. This is like a show. There is an energy tomorrow, or during this new moon, I guess today and tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there is an energy of a show being put on, a well orchestrated show being put on. Again, here, a theatrical representation of a golden-haired goddess of opportunity, right? So something orchestrated. A mother leads her child step by step up the stairs. And retired Army veterans gather to reawaken old memories, rethinking. So there's an energy of a show being put on, and especially dealing with familial issues. I know it's November 23rd. I think Thanksgiving is going to be on the 24th. So this could be a familial drama that happens during a Thanksgiving celebration that might even take place, opposing how a mother figure and brothers or father figures are interacting with you yourself. Maybe you have some issues between work colleagues and family colleagues, if people are brought together, that sort of thing. So just think and, make sure you're aware of this energy. Try not to let the show be at your expense. All right? Peace. Mercury and Venus are also conjunct to the fixed star Antares. I wanted to bring this up not to be negative or to put any sort of fear out there or to cast any sort of potential negativity, but rather to just make aware and what the kind of some of this energy might be. And as we're looking at Mercury dealing with our mind and Venus dealing with our value in Sagittarius, which is the house of philosophy, philosophical thought, higher education, the higher mind and truths. This new moon is going to be taking place in the 7th house, which deals with justice, marriage, committed relationships, mutual commitments, socialization, that sort of thing. A lot of the themes of this new moon already are dealing with childhood programming and or wounding, themes of the mother and the father groups, themes of war heroes meeting up together and reflecting on battles of the past and tactics and techniques of the past. And there is a little, we're moving out of Scorpio, which is death and rebirth and transformation. Again, also dealing with inheritances, taxes, other people's money, and again, bringing in family, things like that. There is a slight energy of, Antares is kind of a malefic fixed star, the energy of it. So I'm going to read it, what its reception to Mercury and Venus is like. Just to put out there, it's an interesting, it's kind of a little bit of a darker energy. So I'm going to read this so people can understand. Just, be on the lookout maybe for your familial gathering this year. Try to definitely keep things calm. Antares, here it is. It's a binary star. It's fiery red and green or emerald green, situated in the body of the scorpion. It's the heart of the scorpion. Antares comes from Anti-Aries, which means the rival of Mars. It is one of the 4 royal stars of Persia circa 3000 BC. And then as the watcher of the west, it marked the autumnal equinox. It's also called Shyla or Cor Scorpios, meaning the heart of the scorpion. Antares' influence, according to Ptolemy, is the nature of Mars and Jupiter. So that's Mars dealing with will, drive, aggression, but also, war, and Jupiter, which is the benefic planet, but it also deals with abundance and expanding. So this is the expansion of martial energies. Hence why I said, keep it calm around the family this Thanksgiving. According to Ptolemy, this is the nature of Mars and Jupiter. Alvidas gives Jupiter sextile Venus, but this is unlikely considering this is the decidedly martial and malefic nature of the star. It causes malevolence, destructiveness, liberality, broad-mindedness, evil passages, and danger of fatality, and it makes of its natives a rash, ravenous, headstrong, and destructive to themselves by their own obstinacy. So when Antares is making conjunction to Mercury, it deals with energies of suspiciousness, wrongful accusation of friends, unpopular, uses ecclesiastical influences in business, money obtained slowly and with much difficulty, danger of sickness to the native and his family, and death of a relative at home or away. And Venus, it deals with insincere, dishonesty, energetic, and able but selfish, is unfavorable for gain and for health. So again, this is just energy that I think people should be wary of for this new moon. I know this new moon is falling on the Thanksgiving weekend, and it's dealing with a lot of familial themes and how one is showing up within themselves, their inner child, parental figures, or their own ability to parent themselves, and how they're showing up both in familial and social settings. So this is an energy to definitely be aware of this holiday. You know, if you and your family have been going through it, I don't want to tell anybody not to spend time with their family, of course, during a time when people get together. But you know, it might not hurt to spend some time alone, perhaps. All right. Peace.